Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Everybody got out there and voted if you're able to. Right. I'm an associated member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker dealer and member of FINRA SIPC. All of my trades are placed through T3 Trading Group. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. Position disclosure. I did keep some Palantir short. I know it looks really good and closed really high, but did okay during the day. We had one really good heavier short trade, and I kind of kept a small position for the rest of the day, which did bleed against me a little bit. But I really just want to keep some shorts on the books over this weekend. I've got a little bit of U Pro. I still have my T Triple Q position, which is bigger, but a little bit of this TZA also. So I've obviously got some longs on as well. So just wanted to get some shorts out on the books, just in case. Um, I don't really have too much new to talk about. The big thing I think really comes down to, do we have a result tomorrow? Um, the market hates uncertainty. So, you know, generally, if we have clarity, there should be no real market related disasters if we have some clarity. Um, there was plenty of research out there this morning that was in Pat's note and in other places that showed different people's opinions on market up or down on Trump versus Harris, whoever the winner is. I'll let you guys do your own research on that. It's been spoken about a lot, so I don't think I need to get into it. For me, it's just the bigger risk, and really do think it's a risk, is if we don't, fully have a decision by the next morning. I don't think I ever really remember that happening before, and um, it could be bad. And the more time that goes by without us having a full decision, the greater the uncertainty, the higher the tensions, and the higher the probability that this market breaks lower. And it's interesting because we did have a strong day today. I could talk about today's action a little bit, but I just really feel like, you know, closing my eyes and not looking at the technicals here for a minute, just thinking about like the event risk. There's pretty big event risk on both sides. We were just reading into the close a Goldman note that Pat provided that talked about the under positioning in the market, and that if we get a very clear decision on who is the winner, that we can get like a real front lower on the VIX, a real vote front, and that probably will propel the indexes higher. And if you can combine that with generally lower positioning in the market, that could lead to a lot of upside chasing that could really, really rip this market higher. Seeing new all-time highs tomorrow, I don't think is out of the equation if everything goes the way it's supposed to, and the VIX gets crushed. And there is also a possibility, like I was just saying, that the market, um, which hates uncertainty, is given uncertainty, and we just don't have a winner. And in that case, I think that that fear of uncertainty could lead to very hard, very fast selling, where, it would not be impossible to see the market trade at 560 tomorrow for the spies I still have up. I don't think that's impossible. Really big down move if there is just no clear winner and a lot of, you know, bad rhetoric coming out from both sides on, you know, anybody trying to say that anything is fraudulent or whatever. Um, from an election perspective, it just could create a lot of uncertainty and bring us down really hard, really fast. So I really don't know. I feel like every other election I've ever gone through, the last election, the election before that, the elections where Obama was president, it was kind of the same playbook of market sells down into the election, gets bought up at the election, and you know um then just that typically then also is the beginning of a really bullish cycle into the end of the year for the market, that November December period. This time around, we didn't get the sell off in the same way. I guess we had a little bit of a sell off, starting Thursday last week, but nothing major. And it seems like there is big risk for potential both directions um, today. And we know that gamma, we saw this in the morning meeting today, gamma is near zero. So you don't have a cushioning effect from the market makers on either side of the market right now. You do have a little bit of a cushioning effect on the downside just because buybacks are back on. I think what we saw 70 or 80% are outside their blackout window now for corporates. And by the end of this week, it'll be 80 or 90%, another 10% on top of that. So that does provide a little bit of a cushioning effect. But, you know, it's going to be an interesting night. It's going to be an interesting night. Um, the sun will rise tomorrow. That's the one thing I'm fairly confident about. And the market will move tomorrow in one direction or the other. I'm also confident about that. And it'll lead to trading opportunities in one direction or the other. So, for myself, my game plan, I've got positions on both sides right now. Into a deep down move, if that were to happen, I'll monetize my shorts and I'll build into and resize into longs. From a positioning perspective, honestly, it probably would be better for me if the market goes down. From a perspective of wanting the best for the United States, I kind of hope that the market doesn't go down and the market is stable or moves higher. And I have no problem, tweaking on some of these shorts I have very quickly also for a loss if it seems like the market's working out. With the exception of TQQQ, which I've been in for a while and I'm up a lot on, I'd be surprised if I end up taking that one off for a loss. But some of this UPRO, some of this Palantir, some of this Nvidia, that I'm still short, could easily. I kind of am slightly overstaying my welcome on that Nvidia trade after the move it gave today, just because I want to keep a couple shorts on into the event risk tonight. So if it ends up costing me, a handful of money, it's something I'm mentally prepared for, and it'll probably be a good thing because the market's moving higher and we have clarity and peaceful transition or continuation of power. And the other side, we don't want that, but it'll it'll be a little bit more beneficial for me from a portfolio perspective. That's pretty much it. I really don't have anything else to talk about as we prepare for tomorrow. The market had a really nice breakdown today. We were able to fully negate the breakdown candle from October 31st. The stocks recaptured 574.50, which is a key level. So our technicals are back into neutral territory as of the close, but I don't think that the technicals matter as much as the event. So we'll see what happens with this event risk tonight, and we'll see how that changes the technicals. This is SPYs. Qs are pretty much the same deal. They basically fully negated the breakdown panel from last Tuesday. So it puts us back into neutral territory. And the IWM with a clear leader, I would agree that the IWM after today's close is not only neutral again, it's actually bullish. A close above 222 starts to get you bullish, and we actually got a close above 224, which is we had this tail high here back on October 30th that we actually were able to close above. So the Russell looks fantastic. So that's it. That's all I've got. Get your popcorn ready, get your beers or your whiskey out, or your orange juice, or whatever you're into, and we'll see what happens tonight. Hopefully, it's not too stressful of an event. That is all that I've got. I'm happy to. My microphone's muffled on the YouTube, huh? I didn't do anything different than yesterday. Were you guys listening yesterday? Was I fine yesterday? Um, I don't work from my apartment very often, but I got to be there a lot this week just because of a couple doctor related things. So I'll be here tomorrow also. So sorry to hear that I'm not sounding good on the YouTube. But if anybody can give me feedback on that on today compared to yes, it was bad yesterday. Okay. Try reducing the volume a little bit further on the mic. It did help. Was it muddled in the VTF all day today? Um, really, just now. better or worse? I guess the VTF struggles when I'm on YouTube at the same time. Is that better or worse? I just made a small adjustment. Yeah, it's a computer issue, is what we figured out, and the computer issue is not fixed. I'm just on a significantly better microphone that seems to be helping. That's a little bit better. Better. Yeah, again, sorry guys, I don't work from this location too often, but just happen to have a series of doctor stuff lined up today. I've got stitches in my chest, so I'm not gonna go to the office tomorrow because I'll probably rip them open city biking to the office. And that wouldn't be good for anybody. Okay. I am decently far from the mic. I now have the mic as low as it goes. Actually, hold on. What does this do? Is that better or worse? Better or worse? Better or worse? Keep playing some games here. It's probably quieter, but is it better quality? A little bit better? Do my best, Stefan. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me at least enough. Let me go up to Tate's question. I have a question, but I have to run, so I'll be listening on YouTube. I've been using the 15-minute stop rule for as long as I can remember. Recently, though, I changed it to 20 minutes. I've noticed several instances in the past where extending beyond the 15-minute rule, downside extension on the 5-minute chart starts to come into play, or even an RDR setup executes. By around 9:45, in some cases, this tends to be the bottom. I understand that extending the stop could mean potentially losing a bit more if the price passes my stop and doesn't revert within the 20-minute window. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on whether the suggestion seems reasonable. I've been doing the same thing, Tate. I've spoken about it a lot. I don't trade with stops as much as I used to. I trade with stops. I don't know if I had to guess 15-20% of the time. And the rest of the time, I'm focused more on position management. So it's the same deal with my 15-minute rule. The 15-minute rule, by the way, for anybody who's newer, is basically if a stop gets past where my stop loss is supposed to be, I don't just immediately hit out the second the market opens. I typically wait for 15 minutes, and whatever the new low is after 15 minutes, I will put my stop in at that low. That's traditionally my 15-minute rule that I specifically use when a swing trade position gaps past my stop loss. Um, though to answer Tate's question, what I do now is I still pay attention to the clock, pay attention at 9:45 and where the position is trading, but then I manage the position. It's exactly what you're describing. I really don't like, especially when there's no news, to hit out of a position ever into large amounts of extension. I find that I can almost always save myself some P&L by managing the position, possibly adding to the position and managing it versus how I'm measuring that extension on that time frame. So if it's really extended down on that 5-minute chart and it's 9:45, 9:20, again, I'm probably not just immediately hitting out like I traditionally would with my 15-minute rule. I'm saying, all right, there's a lot of extension here. Let me manage the trade versus that extension because that extension typically can't last, even though if there's real momentum, that's why I said earlier, if there's no news, if there's real momentum, an extended stock can become more extended, which means I could lose more, but especially if there's no news, which tends to reduce those momentum possibilities, then I kind of just manage the position off that extension and then eventually might put a stop out at a low or work my way out of the position into a bounce. So appreciate the question, Tate. Good educated question. Yeah, we got SNCR getting smoked after hours. Where's it back up? Haven't really looked at it. Looks like they hit it really hard and now it's bounced a little bit. Second quarter sales misestimates. their guidance. But um, they're also saying that we don't see any evidence of fraud or misconduct. This is a brand new microphone. I have two new microphones. It sounds like it's a computer issue. From Chris. I might as well ask you since you're still here. I tried a little long RDR and J&J. Any thoughts? Okay, technically it's a day 3 down. Um, the first candle's very small. The whole idea of the trade is that you want to take advantage of a lot of extension. So what I like to see is like 3 really big candles down in a row or 2 really big candles down in a row and just a lot more extension. This first candle here was such a small candle that I don't want to say it doesn't count. It does count. This first candle isn't doing much to create a lot of extension. The second candle is the acceleration. So I'd like to see like 2 candles like this and then be coming in on a day 3 after that or a day 4. Um, but all the same, technically it is a day 3 today with some extension. So you could try it. And then technically you want to be buying it back through the previous day's low. You have a nice doji today. It didn't close great, but it did close with flows. I just, there's not a ton of reward profile on this. Like maybe you get a snap back to, 159 quarter, 159.50, something like that in a best case scenario. Um, so I don't love the risk reward of the swing versus today's low just to get like $1 to $1.50 out of it. Um, but if you got a good profit cushion, you can try to keep some. Just again, it's kind of a crazy night to I think to be putting on a lot of new swings just with the election situation. But it's technically okay. I would just typically look like the more extension you can get, the better the risk reward's going to be. So that's why I want this bigger first bar also. Hope that helps, Chris. Appreciate the question. From Kevin. Yep, we talked about that one already. Not sure if I heard you correctly, regardless of who wins. Are you saying if we have a declared winner, we should expect some continuation? It's really my thought process is a declared winner, we should expect some upside continuation. One of the sell side notes I read this morning said that there's more juice to the upside on a Trump win than on a Harris win, where they're expecting like flat to down small on a Harris win and the market up bigger on a Trump win. I would argue that maybe some of that percentage is already built into the market at this point. So, my general thought process is that clarity is going to be a bullish thing, and then we can focus just more on market dynamics and the buybacks and everything turning back on, and just our pure technicals. Whereas no clarity is going to be the bad thing that leads to, I think, a potentially much larger sell-off. Yeah, and it might even be worth it to sit out all the way through the Fed. For me, I just want to mainly get through the election risk. So hope that helps, Kevin. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll wrap it up. There was nothing really too new to talk about today. Let's just see what happens tonight. I hope everybody got out there and voted who's able to, and that's all she wrote. So have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.